Hi guys, AJ from QuantFX here, and I'm actually going to give you guys a little bit of an insight today. And I kind of want to approach this because FX has been up in the air a little bit recently, or of course in the last couple of years, have been extended to the public. So access to this and awareness is huge at the moment, massive. And I wasn't initially going to look down this line to do something like this, but of course, um, everything that I've kind of been involved in has revolved around FX for the last over 6 years, really. And I've only felt like it's probably important, if anything, at this time, to keep the fire burning, give people hope, um, before everything diminishes. And it's a sense of other people have unfortunately capitalized on this, on opportunities and so on for the wrong reasons. Just to take advantage of others, who have shown some sort of interest. But this is always the case across board, and across other industries where, we're the vulnerable. You only know what you know at the end of the day, and people just tend to, take advantage of that. So I kind of want to understand or help. Sorry, I would kind of want to help people to understand and give people a bit of deep insight into, things in terms of FX and who can do it, and the limitations and restrictions and the psychology behind it. Everything that I have in my experience, I'll deliver to you guys, and I will publish a set of videos that will help you and enable you to look at the markets differently. Because at the end of the day, there's one really important thing to note, is that the information that we have in order to understand the financial markets is the same as everyone else. Absolutely, pretty much, unless you're an investment bank, hedge fund, and so on above, and that side of the things. But for us, information across board is pretty much similar. But how do we then change the outcome when we have the same information as everybody else? And I'll tell you today that perspective changes the outcome. Perspective changes the outcome. That's exactly the way you need to look at things. Of course, we can relate that to the glass half full, the glass half empty. So really, I want to open up your eyes to something in, a perspective that you may never have seen before. Taking the notion that the market on many levels is manipulated, something that everybody knows about. Now, I know that it's important for us not just to make statements like these as tinfoil hat wearing people, but for us to kind of establish why these things happen, and most importantly, how we can use them to understand the way in which we can trade profitably. It's that simple. Now, if we don't come back to if these don't relate back to how we can make money, or how we can avoid a loss, or whether we can use these as entry targets and exit targets, what's the point in us speaking about it? So everything that I'll be going through in a number of videos to follow will be establishing what things happen where, when did they happen, the frequency of these occurrences in relation to market manipulations, and if we can actually take advantage of them. And I'm not talking about the common gap in the market where you can leave trades open, so so you can benefit from the gap over the weekend. Nothing like that. I'm talking about the things that I believe that people overlook because they've taken the wrong perspective. And during the course of this time, from my experience, my understanding, even my teaching of a limited number of people, I'll be able to give of people who are traders and established traders in actual fact, and people who have tested the market for a while but have not been as consistent and successful at gaining an edge, let's say, and across all of that, I find it a lot easier to work with those who are a total blank canvas. And the reason why I would probably implore most people to have an open mind, is the fact that, you've got to understand that when we absorb new information in relation to a topic, that sets the foundation and conditions our mind to that being the norm, that being the basis of everything. So when we look at anything else, in relation outward to that, everything relates back to the base. So if we change the perspective and perception of things at the beginning, at ground level, the outcome will change completely. And I can assure you that on this journey, And I look forward to basically giving you guys information around that, some real deep insight, maybe even touch upon some strategy, and yeah, sharing with you my experience and understanding as a person who's a trader, but at the same time a person who is you know, part of an educational side as well. And yeah, I'm coming from a background of somebody who, you know, is in a family of, you know, background of 25 plus years experience as a trader, and I'll unravel that in time about what that means, if it means anything, in relation to my experience. But there are certain, obviously we acquire certain information sometimes to understand not how to use it, but what to avoid. So sometimes it's also important to gauge that as well, to make comparisons, to involve yourself as much, and, you know, test notions and go against the grain a little bit. But it all comes down to one thing, doesn't it? And that is that how can I use what I've said to relate back to how I can make money in the markets and how I can avoid a loss, and how consistently I can make money. Because we all know that just because we have frequency, it doesn't mean things should be consistent. So the perspective we're going to be taking is going to be based on personality. And the next video I'm going to be going through is just to basically help you understand how personality can change the outcome. And it will also probably denote and explain a lot of reasons why many people test and trial in the markets to try and, you know, turn, you know, their money into, you know, an additional income or investment, and why some people fail. The same way you'll have two exact same products in the market, any products, this could be anything, I don't know, it could be like, you know, let's say computers, let's say, or you know, something like that. They're exactly the same products, but it's going to be the personality of the product or the salesman who's going to push that forward and literally gain the most sales or the most productivity in that time. And this is exactly what I'm saying as well, is that we need to establish that part so we can generate a hell of a lot of a different outcome as opposed to the rest of the market. Because we all know that price action strategies use universal patterns like heads and shoulders, ABCD patterns, flag patterns, and so on and so forth, and curtains, whatever you have it, Elliott wave theory, indicators. They're all decent, but they're only supplementary tools. They never teach you how, they never show you what actually is going to happen in the future. In fact, they illustrate the price in a completely different way. Again, this will be another video that I'm going to show you guys and enlighten to you with my belief of indicators and why I prefer a naked chart, and also how I just trade price on its own, like you've heard many times of how people trade price on their own, but absolutely differently to the way other people trade price, by understanding what everything means. Because my understanding is, number one, the market's manipulated and something means everything. So no matter whether you look at a candlestick chart or a line chart, and of course naturally, you know, most people lead toward a candlestick chart because it gives you more information, but unless you understand what the wicks mean, and unless you understand what the bodies mean and how they represent information in order and contribute towards how we make money or how to avoid a loss, then I don't feel that we've used them to the fullest if we haven't established what their purpose is. So thank you guys, you know, for listening. I hope that I could, you know, I hope that I've given a little bit of insight and direction into the way these videos will be going. It's the first time I'm doing something like this, so thank you for your patience, and I look forward to releasing some more videos with some more information and giving you an understanding of the markets. And yes, thanks, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.